You have probably heard that fasting is good for your health, weight loss, more energy, even helping your body clean itself from the inside. But if you are someone who has had kidney stones before, or you are worried because someone in your family has them, you are probably asking a different question. Can fasting actually help with kidney stones? Or could it make things worse? This is a question many people wonder about, but few get a clear answer. Some say fasting can help dissolve kidney stones. Others warn that fasting causes dehydration and makes stones more likely to form. So what is the truth? In this video, I will explain exactly what happens to kidney stones when you fast. You will understand why fasting can both help and harm depending on how you do it. And most importantly, you will know what to do to protect yourself if you want to combine fasting with preventing kidney stones. Before we continue, this is educational content, not medical advice. If you currently have kidney stones or a history of them, please talk to your doctor before changing your eating habits. Now let us start with the basics. And I promise to explain everything in a way that is easy to understand, even if you have never thought about kidney stones before. Before we talk about fasting, let us understand what kidney stones actually are and how they form. This will help everything else make more sense. Because once you understand how stones form, you will understand exactly why some things help and some things make the problem worse. Kidney stones are small hard deposits that form inside your kidneys. They are made from minerals found in your urine. Normally, these minerals dissolve in your urine and get flushed out of your body without any problems. But when there are too many minerals or too little water, they start sticking together and forming stones. These stones can be as small as a grain of sand or as large as a golf ball in extreme cases. There are four main types of kidney stones, and knowing which type matters because they behave differently. Understanding your stone type is actually one of the most useful things you can know for prevention. The most common type is calcium oxalate stones, which make up about 80% of all cases. If you have had a kidney stone, chances are it was this type. These stones form when calcium and a substance called oxalate combine in your urine. Next is uric acid stones, which are more common in people who eat a lot of red meat, organ meats, and seafood. These foods contain substances called purines, which break down into uric acid. Then there are struvite stones, which are related to urinary tract infections. These can grow quickly and become quite large. And finally, cystine stones, which are rare and caused by genetic factors that run in families. Why do stones form in the first place? Think of it this way. When you add salt to water, if you add a little bit, it dissolves completely. The water can handle it. But if you add too much salt and there is not enough water, the salt cannot dissolve anymore and it settles at the bottom of the glass. The same thing happens in your kidneys. When your urine has too many minerals and not enough water to dissolve them, the minerals start to crystallize and clump together into stones. Scientists call this supersaturation. It simply means the liquid has more dissolved material than it can hold. Think of it like a crowded room. When there are too many people and not enough space, people start bumping into each other and clustering together. When your urine becomes supersaturated with stone-forming minerals, crystals begin to form. And once crystals form, they can grow larger over time as more minerals attach to them. Another important factor is how acidic your urine is. Different types of stones prefer different environments. Uric acid stones form more easily when urine is highly acidic. Calcium phosphate stones prefer a less acidic environment. This matters because fasting can change the acidity of your urine, and we will talk more about that later. Now let us get to the main question. How does fasting affect kidney stones? The answer is not simply good or bad. It depends on how you do it. And this is something that many videos about fasting do not tell you. First, let us talk about the potentially harmful side. When you fast, many people tend to drink less water than usual. Maybe you forget because you are not eating. Maybe you just do not feel as thirsty. Whatever the reason, this makes your urine more concentrated. When urine is concentrated, the mineral levels go up, and that creates the perfect conditions for stones to form. Remember what we said about supersaturation. Less water means higher concentration of minerals. On top of that, when you fast for extended periods, your body starts burning fat for energy. This is actually one of the benefits that people talk about with fasting. But this process also produces more uric acid as a byproduct. If uric acid levels rise in your urine, the risk of uric acid stones also increases. This does not mean fasting will definitely cause uric acid stones, but it does mean you need to be aware of this and take steps to protect yourself. As for fasting without any water at all, sometimes called dry fasting, this is something you should not do, especially if you have a history of kidney stones. Without water coming in, your urine becomes extremely concentrated. This is the fastest way to create conditions where stones can form. However, fasting also has a potentially beneficial side. When you fast, insulin levels in your body drop. Some research suggests that lower insulin may change how your kidneys handle calcium. Fasting can also change the acidity of your urine, and as I mentioned, this affects different types of stones in different ways. The important thing to remember is this. The issue is not whether you fast or not. The issue is how you fast. If you fast while still drinking enough water and adding the right things, the results can be completely different compared to fasting without paying attention to hydration. The same fasting that could increase your risk of stones can actually help prevent them if done correctly. To understand more clearly why drinking enough water is so important, let us look at an unexpected place: outer space. In 1972, a doctor named Abraham Cockett was the first person to warn NASA about a problem that few people had thought about. Astronauts have a high risk of developing kidney stones while in space. He predicted that the zero-gravity environment would create perfect conditions for stones to form. At the time, space missions were getting longer, and he was worried about the health consequences. And he was right. To this day, at least 14 American astronauts have developed kidney stones, with 9 cases occurring after they returned to Earth. When scientists analyzed the urine of 332 astronauts from space shuttle missions, they found something concerning: calcium and oxalate. The two substances that make up the most common type of kidney stone were both elevated during spaceflight. At the same time, urine volume decreased significantly. Why does this relate to fasting? Because the space environment creates conditions remarkably similar to fasting without proper hydration. Astronauts often drink less water than they should. The space station environment affects their thirst signals. Their urine becomes more concentrated. The composition of their urine shifts in ways that favor stone formation. This is exactly what can happen to you if you fast without paying attention to how much water you drink. So what did NASA do about it? They developed specific ways to protect astronauts. Dr. Peggy Whitson, a veteran female astronaut and researcher who spent more time in space than any other American, conducted important studies. Her research showed that supplementing with something called potassium citrate could significantly reduce the risk of kidney stones. NASA also requires astronauts to drink between 2.5 and 3.2 liters of water per day, which is more than most people drink on Earth. The lesson for us is clear. If you are fasting without paying attention to hydration, you are creating a space-like environment inside your own body. And that is not the kind of space experience you want. But if you follow what NASA does to protect astronauts drinking enough water and adding citrate, you can turn fasting from a risk into a protective tool. NASA gave us the most important lesson. Drinking enough water is what makes the difference between fasting that helps and fasting that harms. So, what exactly should you do? Let us talk about how much water you need. The goal is for your kidneys to produce at least 2 to 2.5 liters of urine per day. When your urine is diluted enough, minerals dissolve easily and are less likely to crystallize into stones. To achieve this, you typically need to drink about 2.5 to 3 liters of water per day, or even more if the weather is hot or you exercise a lot and sweat. This is especially important when fasting because normally about 20% of the water you get comes from food. Fruits, vegetables, soups, and even solid foods contain water. When you fast, you lose this source of water, so you need to make up for it by drinking more. Let us talk about when to drink. Do not wait until you feel thirsty. By the time you feel thirsty, you may already be slightly dehydrated. Spread your water intake evenly throughout the day. If you are doing a type of fasting where you eat within a certain time window, continue drinking water regularly even during the fasting period, not just during eating time. Water does not break your fast. The simplest way to know if you are drinking enough water is to look at the color of your urine. If your urine is a pale yellow, almost clear, that is a good sign. Your urine is diluted and minerals are less likely to form stones. If your urine is dark yellow, like tea, you are not drinking enough water and need to increase your intake. An easy way to remember this: if your urine is darker than diluted lemon juice, drink more water. Now let us talk about something that few people know about but is very important. Citrate. Citrate is a substance found naturally in your body and in many sour fruits like lemons, oranges, and grapefruits. What makes citrate special is that it can prevent the process of stone formation. Citrate binds to calcium in your urine, stopping calcium from combining with oxalate to form stones. Think of citrate as a bodyguard for calcium, keeping it from causing trouble. When the amount of citrate in your urine is too low a condition, doctors call hypocitraturia, the risk of kidney stones increases significantly. This is one of the top risk factors that urologists commonly check for when evaluating people with kidney stones. Here is something worth noting. Fasting can reduce the amount of citrate in your urine. This is why adding citrate during fasting becomes important. You need to replace what you might be losing. Researchers at Duke University discovered something interesting. When kidney stone patients drank lemon water every day, about 120 milliliters of lemon juice mixed with 2 liters of water, the amount of citrate in their urine doubled. Even more impressive, the rate of new stone formation dropped from 1.0 to just 0.13 stones per person per year. In other words, new stones almost stopped forming entirely. The size of existing stones also decreased. How to apply this when fasting is simple. During your eating window, add fresh lemon juice to your drinking water. You can also drink lemon water during your fasting window since it contains almost no calories. This is a natural, inexpensive, and scientifically supported way to protect yourself from kidney stones while fasting. Now, it is time to directly answer the question that the video title asks. Can fasting dissolve kidney stones? For the most common type of stone, calcium oxalate stones, the answer is no. This type of stone is very stable chemically. Once it has formed, it cannot be dissolved by any diet including fasting. No amount of water, lemon juice, or special foods will dissolve a calcium oxalate stone. These stones can only be removed by passing naturally if they are small enough, usually under 5 millimeters, or through medical procedures like lithotripsy where sound waves break up the stone, or surgery if they are larger. However, there is an important exception: uric acid stones. The second most common type can be affected by how acidic your urine is. When urine becomes less acidic, uric acid stones can actually dissolve gradually over time. Some eating patterns, including eating more vegetables during your eating window, can make urine less acidic. However, this needs to be monitored by a doctor who can check your urine acidity levels and should not be experimented with on your own. There is an important limitation to keep in mind. Regardless of what type of stone you have, if the stone is larger than 5 millimeters, you need to be evaluated by a doctor. If a stone is causing severe pain blockage or signs of infection, this is a medical situation that needs proper treatment, not a time to experiment with fasting. So what is the real role of fasting when it comes to kidney stones? The answer is prevention, not treatment. Fasting done correctly with enough water and citrate can help prevent new stones from forming. But it cannot replace medical treatment for stones that already exist. One final thing to mention: not everyone with a history of kidney stones should fast even with proper hydration and citrate. People who should talk to a doctor before fasting include those who currently have stones larger than 5 millimeters being monitored, those who have had kidney stones multiple times more than twice in their lifetime, those who live in hot climates or work outdoors frequently where they sweat a lot, those who do high-intensity exercise and lose a lot of fluids, those who are taking medications that affect their kidneys or urine composition, and those who have other kidney conditions in addition to stones. Signs that you should stop fasting immediately include sudden severe pain in your side or lower back, especially if the pain spreads to your lower abdomen, urine that is pink or red, which is a sign of blood, pain or difficulty when urinating, fever along with back pain, which could be a sign of infection that needs urgent medical attention. Fasting is a tool, not a medicine. And like any tool, it needs to be used correctly and by the right person. So we have now gone through the entire story of fasting and kidney stones. Let me quickly summarize what we learned. Fasting is not a magic solution that dissolves stones. Calcium oxalate stones, the most common type, cannot be dissolved by any diet. But fasting done correctly with enough water and citrate can be a good tool for preventing new stones from forming. The key is hydration. Drink enough water to keep your urine pale and diluted. Add lemon juice for extra protection. And pay attention to the warning signs your body gives you. NASA proved this with their astronauts. The lemon juice research confirmed it. And now, you have the knowledge to apply it for yourself. Have you ever had kidney stones? Or are you worried because someone in your family has them? Share your story in the comments. Some doctors advise avoiding fasting completely if you have a history of stones. Others say fasting done correctly with enough water can actually protect you. Based on what you learned today, what do you think? If you know someone who is worried about kidney stones, share this video with them. This information could help them. If this video helped you, please subscribe to the channel and share it with those who need to know. There are still many fascinating things about fasting waiting for you to discover.